Waitress fainting from exhaustion gets a $20,000 tip from Ronaldo. How will this story unfold? To find out, watch the video to the end. But first, please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications to get more stories like this. The bustling restaurant hummed with the chatter of hungry patrons and the clinking of dishes as Lucia, a dedicated waitress, wove through the maze of tables, her arms laden with heavy trays. Her dark hair was pulled back into a tight ponytail, and her uniform, though neatly pressed, couldn't hide the weariness etched into her features. Lucia had been working back-to-back shifts, pushing herself to the brink of exhaustion to keep up with the relentless demands of her job. With bills piling up and no time to rest, she knew she couldn't afford to slow down. She forced a smile onto her face, determined to provide excellent service despite the fatigue that threatened to overwhelm her. As she approached a table to take an order, Lucia felt a wave of dizziness wash over her. She blinked rapidly, trying to clear her vision, but the room seemed to tilt and sway around her. She gripped the edge of the table, willing herself to stay upright, but her body had other plans. Without warning, Lucia's legs gave out beneath her, and she collapsed to the floor, sending dishes and glasses shattering around her. The restaurant fell silent, the once lively chatter replaced by a stunned hush. Customers stared at the fallen waitress, some with concern, others with indifference. Lucia lay motionless on the ground, her breathing shallow, her eyes closed. The weight of her exhaustion had finally caught up with her, and her body had simply given out. But amidst the shocked onlookers, one man immediately sprang into action. Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest footballers in the world, had been dining quietly in the corner, but he couldn't ignore the scene unfolding before him. Without hesitation, he rushed to Lucia's side, his brow furrowed with concern. He knelt down beside her, gently helping her sit up and calling for assistance. The restaurant staff, jolted out of their stunned silence, quickly gathered around, bringing water and a cool cloth for Lucia's forehead. As Lucia slowly regained consciousness, she found herself staring up into the kind eyes of Cristiano Ronaldo. Embarrassment flooded her cheeks, and she struggled to sit up, mumbling an apology for the disturbance she had caused. But Ronaldo gently stopped her, his hand resting on her shoulder. "You don't need to apologize for working hard," he said, his voice filled with quiet sincerity. "You should be proud of your dedication." Lucia felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes, overwhelmed by the unexpected kindness from a stranger. She had no idea that this moment of compassion was just the beginning of a life-changing encounter. As commotion settled and Lucia was helped to a quiet corner to recover, Cristiano Ronaldo returned to his table, his mind still preoccupied with the hard-working waitress. He had seen the toll that the demanding job had taken on her, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to do something to help. Ronaldo had always been known for his generosity and kind heart, both on and off the football pitch. He had never forgotten his own humble beginnings and the struggles he had faced on his way to success. Now, as he sat in the restaurant, he knew that he had the power to make a real difference in someone's life. When the check arrived, Ronaldo took a moment to contemplate his next move. He glanced around the restaurant, taking in the bustling atmosphere and the hard-working staff. He thought about the long hours and demanding customers that Lucia and her colleagues faced every day, and he made a decision. Discreetly, Ronaldo added a $20,000 tip to his bill, ensuring that Lucia would have the means to take time to rest, recover, and ease the burdens that had led her to this moment of exhaustion. He knew that this gesture could change her life, giving her the breathing room she so desperately needed. As he prepared to leave, Ronaldo's eyes met Lucia's from across the room. She had recovered enough to sit up, though the weariness still lingered in her features. Ronaldo offered her a small nod and a smile, a silent acknowledgement of her resilience and hard work. Lucia watched as the famous footballer exited the restaurant, unaware of the incredible surprise that awaited her. She slowly got back to her feet, determined to push through the rest of her shift, never imagining that a single act of kindness was about to change her life forever. It was only later, when the manager approached her with the receipt in hand, that Lucia realized the magnitude of what had transpired. As she looked down at the slip of paper, her hands began to shake, and her eyes widened in disbelief. There, written in clear, bold strokes, was a tip amount that exceeded anything she had ever seen before. $20,000. More money than she could have ever dreamed of earning in such a short time. It was a lifeline, a chance to pay off debts, cover expenses, and finally take a well-deserved break. Tears welled up in Lucia's eyes, spilling down her cheeks as the reality of the situation sank in. She clutched the receipt to her chest, overwhelmed by the generosity of a stranger who had seen her struggle and chosen to help. In that moment, Lucia felt a flicker of hope reignite within her. She had been working so hard for so long, pushing herself to the limit just to survive. But now, with this incredible gift, she finally had a chance to breathe, to rest, and to start new. And as she stood there, tears streaming down her face, Lucia knew that she would never forget the kindness of Cristiano Ronaldo. He had done more than just give her money. He had given her a renewed sense of faith in the goodness of people and a chance to build a better life for herself. News of Cristiano Ronaldo's extraordinary act of generosity spread like wildfire, rippling through the restaurant and beyond. Customers who had witnessed the events of the night began to share the story, marveling at the footballer's compassion and kindness. As word of the $20,000 tip made its way through the dining room, a change began to take place. Patrons who had previously been indifferent to the struggles of the waitstaff started to take notice. They saw Lucia and her colleagues in a new light, recognizing the hard work and dedication that went into their jobs. Inspired by Ronaldo's example, customers began to leave larger tips of their own. They took the time to offer words of appreciation and encouragement to the servers, acknowledging the challenges they faced and the effort they put in. The restaurant staff, who had long felt invisible and undervalued, suddenly found themselves the recipients of a wave of kindness and support. They felt seen and appreciated in a way they had never experienced before, and it filled them with a renewed sense of pride and purpose. For Lucia, the impact of Ronaldo's generosity extended far beyond the financial relief it provided. As she sat in the break room, clutching the receipt with gratitude, she felt a weight lift from her shoulders. The constant worry and stress that had consumed her for so long began to dissipate, replaced by a feeling of hope and possibility. She knew that the money would make a tangible difference in her life, allowing her to catch up on bills, take a much-needed break, and maybe even pursue some of the dreams she had put on hold for so long. But more than that, Ronaldo's act of kindness had restored her faith in the goodness of people. In a world that often felt cold and unforgiving, where the struggles of the working class were often overlooked or dismissed, Ronaldo had shown that there were still those who cared, who were willing to step up and make a difference. Lucia realized that true greatness wasn't just about skill, fame, or wealth, but about how one used those gifts to lift others up. Ronaldo, with his quiet generosity and compassion, had demonstrated that even the smallest acts of kindness could have a profound impact on someone's life. As she wiped away her tears and took a deep breath, Lucia felt a renewed sense of determination. She knew that the road ahead would still be challenging, that there would be more long shifts and difficult customers to face. But she also knew that she wasn't alone, that there were good people in the world who believe in the value of hard work and the importance of treating others with kindness and respect. And with that knowledge, she found the strength to carry on, to face whatever challenges lay ahead with grace and resilience, knowing that a single act of kindness had changed her life forever. As the days turned into weeks, the impact of Cristiano Ronaldo's generosity continued to ripple outward, touching lives far beyond the walls of the restaurant. Lucia's story had struck a chord with people from all walks of life, sparking conversation about the value of hard work, the struggles of the working class, and the power of compassion to change lives. Inspired by Ronaldo's example, people began to share their own stories of kindness and generosity, of the moments when a stranger's actions had lifted them up and given them hope. They spoke of the importance of recognizing the humanity in others, of treating everyone with dignity and respect, regardless of their job or status. Lucia found herself at the center of this growing movement, her story a symbol of the challenges faced by so many hardworking people around the world. She was invited to share her experiences on local news programs and at community events, her voice becoming a powerful testament to the resilience and strength of the human spirit. Through these opportunities, Lucia met other people who had faced similar struggles, who had worked tirelessly to make ends meet and support their families. She listened to their stories, offered her own words of encouragement and support, and found herself becoming part of a larger community of people dedicated to making a difference. Slowly but surely, Lucia began to see changes taking place in her own workplace and beyond. The restaurant owner, moved by the outpouring of support for his staff, implemented new policies to improve working conditions and ensure fair treatment for all employees. Other businesses in the area followed suit, recognizing the importance of valuing their workers and creating a positive environment where everyone could thrive. Customers, too, began to approach their interactions with service workers with greater empathy and respect, recognizing the hard work and dedication that went into every shift. For Lucia, these changes were a testament to the power of one person's actions to inspire others and create lasting impact. She knew that Ronaldo's generosity had been a catalyst for so much positive change, but she also recognized that it was the collective efforts of many people, the customers who had left larger tips, the co-workers who had supported each other through difficult times, the community members who had rallied around their cause, that had truly made a difference. As she looked to the future, Lucia felt a renewed sense of purpose and hope. She knew that there was still much work to be done, that there were countless others who faced the same challenges she had overcome. But she also knew that she was not alone in this fight, that there were good people in the world who were willing to stand up for what was right and make a difference in the lives of others. And so, with a heart full of gratitude and a spirit full of determination, Lucia set out to continue the work that Ronaldo had begun, to be a voice for the voiceless and a champion for the hardworking people who kept the world running, one shift at a time. She knew that the road ahead would not be easy, that there would be setbacks and challenges along the way. But she also knew that she had the strength and resilience to face whatever lay ahead, armed with the knowledge that a single act of kindness could change the world, one person at a time. As the months passed, Lucia found herself becoming more involved in the growing movement for workers' rights and fair treatment. She attended rallies and protests, spoke at community meetings and events, and worked tirelessly to raise awareness about the challenges faced by service workers and other low-wage earners. Through her efforts, she met many other people who shared her passion for social justice and equality. She formed close bonds with activists and organizers, learning from their experiences and strategies, and finding strength in their shared commitment to creating a better world. Lucia also continued to work at the restaurant, but now with a renewed sense of purpose and pride. She saw her job not just as a means of survival, but as an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of her co-workers and customers. She became a mentor and advocate for her fellow servers, helping them navigate the challenges of the job and fight for their rights. As word of Lucia's activism spread, she began to receive recognition and support from unexpected places. Local politicians and community leaders sought her out for advice and collaboration, recognizing the power of her voice and the importance of the issues she championed. Even Cristiano Ronaldo, the man whose act of kindness had started it all, reached out to Lucia to express his admiration and support. He invited her to speak at a charity event he was hosting, using his platform to amplify her message and inspire others to get involved. Lucia was humbled and grateful for the opportunity, but she knew that the true heroes were the countless workers who showed up every day, often in difficult and demanding circumstances, to keep the world running. She dedicated her speech to them, calling on everyone in the audience to recognize their value and fight for their rights. As she spoke, Lucia could feel the energy in the room shifting, the hearts and minds of those present opening to the possibility of a better, more just world. She knew that change would not come easily, that there would be resistance and setbacks along the way. But she also knew that the tide was turning, that more and more people were waking up to the injustices and inequalities that had long been ignored or accepted. And she knew that, with each passing day, the movement for workers' rights and dignity was growing stronger, fueled by the courage and determination of people like herself and the countless others who had joined the fight. As Lucia stepped down from the stage to thunderous applause, she felt a sense of hope and possibility that she had never known before. She looked out at the sea of faces before her, at the people from all walks of life who had come together in solidarity and support, and she knew that they were unstoppable. With a heart full of gratitude and a spirit full of determination, Lucia walked out into the world, ready to continue the work of building a better future for all. She knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult, but she also knew that she was not alone, that she had the strength and resilience of a movement behind her. And so, with each step she took, Lucia carried with her the memory of that fateful night in the restaurant, the night when a single act of kindness had changed her life and set her on a path to change the world. She carried with her the knowledge that every person had the power to make a difference, to be a light in the darkness and a voice for the voiceless. And she knew that, as long as there were people like Cristiano Ronaldo and the countless others who had joined her in this fight, there would always be hope for a better tomorrow. Years later, Lucia found herself reflecting on the incredible journey that had brought her to where she was today. She sat in her office at the workers' rights organization she had founded, surrounded by the fruits of her labor, the photographs and mementos of the countless lives she had touched, the victories she had won, and the battles she had fought. She thought back to that fateful night in the restaurant, the night when everything had changed. She remembered the exhaustion and despair that had overwhelmed her, the feeling that she was trapped in a cycle of endless work and struggle with no way out. And then she remembered Cristiano Ronaldo, the man who had seen her pain and chosen to do something about it. She remembered the shock and disbelief she had felt when she saw the $20,000 tip, the tears that had streamed down her face as she realized that someone had seen her, had valued her, had believed in her. Lucia knew that she could never repay Ronaldo for what he had done for her, but she also knew that the best way to honor his kindness was to pay it forward, to use her own success and influence to lift up others and make a difference in the world. And that was exactly what she had done. Through her organization, Lucia had helped countless workers fight for their rights and their dignity, from service workers like herself to farm workers, factory workers, and beyond. She had lobbied for better wages and working conditions, had provided legal support and advocacy for those who had been mistreated or exploited, and had built a movement that was stronger and more powerful than ever before. Lucia knew that there was still much work to be done, that the fight for justice and equality was far from over. But she also knew that she had helped to create a world where more people could live with dignity and respect, where hard work was valued and rewarded, and where kindness and compassion could change lives. As she sat in her office, reflecting on all that she had accomplished and all that lay ahead, Lucia felt a sense of deep gratitude and purpose. She knew that none of it would have been possible without the love and support of the people around her, from her co-workers and fellow activists to her family and friends. And she knew that, at the heart of it all, was the simple but profound act of kindness that had started it all, the moment when Cristiano Ronaldo had seen her struggles and chosen to help, not because he had to, but because it was the right thing to do. Lucia smiled to herself, feeling a sense of warmth and hope fill her heart. She knew that the world could be a challenging and difficult place, that there would always be obstacles and setbacks on the path to progress. But she also knew that there was so much goodness and beauty in the world, so many people who were working tirelessly to make a difference, to create a better future for all. And she knew that, as long as there were people like Cristiano Ronaldo and the countless others who had joined her in this fight, there would always be hope, always be the possibility of change and transformation. With a deep breath and a renewed sense of purpose, Lucia stood up from her desk and walked to the window, looking out at the city bustling below. She saw the people hurrying to work, the buses and cars streaming by, the sun glinting off the glass and steel of the skyscrapers. And she saw something else too, the invisible threads that connected them all, the bonds of humanity and compassion that held the world together, even in its darkest moments. She saw the power of kindness to change lives, to inspire others, to create ripples of hope and possibility that could transform the world. Lucia knew that her own story was just one small part of that larger tapestry, one thread in the great weave of human experience. But she also knew that every thread mattered, that every act of kindness and compassion made a difference, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. And so, with a heart full of gratitude and a spirit full of determination, Lucia turned back to her work, ready to continue the fight for justice and equality, ready to be a light in the darkness and a voice for the voiceless. She knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult, that there would be times when the challenges seemed insurmountable and the obstacles too great to overcome. But she also knew that she was not alone, that she had the strength and resilience of a movement behind her, and the power of kindness and compassion to guide her way. And so, with each step she took and each battle she fought, Lucia carried with her the memory of that fateful night in the restaurant, the night when a single act of kindness had changed her life and set her on a path to change the world. She carried with her the knowledge that every person had the power to make a difference, to be a force for good in the world, no matter their circumstances or their station in life. And she carried with her the hope and the belief that together, they could build a better future for all, a world where every person was valued and respected, where hard work was rewarded and celebrated, and where kindness and compassion reigned supreme. For Lucia, that was the true legacy of Cristiano Ronaldo's act of kindness, not just the money he had given her, but the way he had inspired her to be a better person, to fight for what was right, and to never give up on the power of the human spirit to overcome even the greatest of challenges. And as she looked out at the world before her, Lucia knew that she would always carry that legacy with her, a beacon of hope and possibility in a world that so desperately needed it. She knew that the fight for justice and equality would never be easy, but she also knew that it was a fight worth fighting, a cause worth dedicating her life to. And so, with a heart full of love and a spirit full of determination, Lucia stepped forward into the future, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that she had the strength and the courage to make a difference, one act of kindness at a time.